Hey, you guys. Circling back around here, as I know I commented the other day in my post that I just kind of needed a minute to be left alone after the weekend. I needed time to pray and reflect. Let me tell you, Sunday rolling into Monday was not a fun, not a fun 24-hour period for me. I don't really want to go into all the stuff that transpired in that time frame, but I was definitely not at my best. And, for any of you that saw me or interacted with me being less than my best, I am sorry. I certainly hope I didn't cast any kind of offense or anything like that. I was definitely in a place in my own head. Several people saw that after I lost on a split decision on that final bout of the tournaments, I was pretty darn upset. And, it wasn't this like, why do you get my way? I wanted to go, it wasn't that stupid crap. Really, I feel like the reason why I got as upset as I did, looking at the bigger picture, bigger picture, is that, it really fell within the throes of me being in a very long season of feeling like I'm pouring myself into so much in so many other life areas, yet I always feel like I come up like that short, right? Like, so when I made it through the tournament as I did into that last round and then the final bouts, and then, it went to that split decision and I lost on that split decision, it kind of underscored or like echoed all of this other life junk that I had been really feeling deep down into my core, feeling like, here I am, I'm like, I'm trying, and ever fallen like that short, right? Ever fallen short. And so obviously it struck a chord within me in a deeper way that I couldn't really articulate adequately in that moment. And I can certainly understand that other people didn't understand that, where it wasn't just being upset that I lost. It was that the way I guess I felt in that moment was like, it was like yet another thing where I try and I fall short, right? The whole thing of it, the whole weekend was really an incredible blessing, more than I could even begin to calculate or say here on this video. It was a huge, huge blessing. I was blessed in so many ways. God blessed me with so much peace, so much joy, so many amazing interactions and connections. And let me tell you, I got some really, really, really great feedback over this weekend. Really great feedback and things to bring home, right? Things that I can work on, things that I know I can improve and I will improve, right? I'm not at this place of like wallowing and I'm going to stay down. No, I'm determined to get back up and do better because I know I can, right? I just, one of the things that I've said many times over when it comes to my own journey with martial arts is that I really deeply appreciate not just the environment, like being able to learn these super cool not ninja skills, but like all of these different skill sets, but also the platform that it serves as for my own personal growth, like where God uses it to develop my character, to help me to overcome mental and emotional obstacles and things like that. And that was why I really dug into the raw food fast that I was doing as I was leading up to that, because I realized there were some things in me that I needed to deal with, that I wanted to deal with, and hadn't pushed past just yet. And so one of those things, the one thing that I thought was the big thing that I needed to work through, was the performance anxiety, right? So I have said it many times over, I don't care about getting hit. I don't care about getting kicked. That part doesn't bother me. Sometimes it hurts, but it goes away, whatever. It's part of the game. But it's when I feel like I am underperforming and again falling short, that I get in my own head, and it becomes this self-perpetuating cycle where it's like I'm worried that I'm not going to do good enough, so my worry distracts me to the point that I don't do as well as I could, right? And then just vicious cycle on down. So that was why on Wednesday, before I flew out Thursday, I really made it a point to check out from the gym. I didn't train because I'm like, okay, at this point the homework's done. There's not really much you're going to pick up in that last home stretch that's going to be your make or break factor necessarily when you get into that. It's like the cram before the exam, if you're going to take, some massive law exam, the day before is not the day to open that book up for the first time. Like it's a good time to recap, sure, but it's not the time to cram. And so I knew I needed to shift gears mentally for me to come in a better place, right? That was, for me at that time, it was the most important. And I felt like I was dealing with the whole like processing and letting go of the performance anxiety part, right? Like, I admittedly have this way of having people that I look up very much so too. Like like especially, Waco USA's team president, Rob Zabilski. I have such an amazing amount of respect for that guy. If you ever want an example of grit, learn more about that guy, right? Like, he works so freaking hard. Him and his whole family, his daughter, Ashley Zabilski, she busts her tail, man. She works a solid full-time job. She runs her freaking job. And then she turns around and she's doing all this stuff behind the scenes with Waco and really, supporting her dad and those efforts and bringing things together. And then you have, Sensei Phil Maldonado, who I look up to a ton. I mean, the man is so amazing, and I find it such an honor to train under him. And it's like, him and so many other people where I'm like, gosh, I really, really value these people. And, in that, I admittedly have a tendency to set certain expectations of myself and then unintentionally sort of project those things onto other people, like assuming that they expect of me what I'm expecting of me. And what maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is I was getting way too tied up in letting myself be so worried about disappointing them that it was actually serving as this massive stumbling block, keeping me from being able to perform at my best, right? And to run my race at my best. It was just weighing me down. It was like these weighted chains that I was wearing in, and it was slowing me down and costing me. And so, that Wednesday, I was really thinking about that, really, just processing, and felt like I was letting that go. And I was like, yay, I got into the weekend, and y'all, I was so excited. I was so excited to see everybody. I was excited to get to compete. I was excited to get to return, to the national championships. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, this mom of two out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, getting to compete among the best of the best on a national platform. Like, what kind of crazy huge blessing is that, right? I was stoked. I was so excited that before I went out for my first bout, I was literally trying to get my sensei to dance with me in the locker room in the back. He didn't give me that dance, and I'm going to argue that he still owes me one. So sensei, if you watch this, I expect that dance one of these days. But no, I mean, I was just so grateful. I was blessed with so much peace, so much joy, so many amazing interactions from amazing people. It was just such an incredible gift and a joy to be there. Now, here we went into the finals, and my head was definitely in it was in a different place than it was the day before, but still it felt like a better place, right? And my focus was so much better, and I knew I was going to have to come out as a different fighter because, I had gotten to see a little bit of my opponent from the day before when she competed, not a whole lot, but I got to see a little bit, and I knew I needed to change my game up, and to be fair, I did, was I perfect? Obviously not, but it definitely forced me to grow even in that respect and in how I functioned as a martial artist under that pressure. So that was really cool. But then, everything came, as that last bell rang, and then we, met in the middle, and they made the announcement that it was, a split decision. And then I did not come out with that win. I got really upset again because I felt like it underscored my own stuff inside. And that's where I felt like God was working to bring me more full circle in understanding that I was treating the performance anxiety as like the thing that needed to be dealt with. Like, this is what I need to get over. But the fact of the matter, it was like where there was this big tree that was producing fruit in my life that I did not want, right? I was thinking that I was dealing with the actual root, but I was really trying to deal with the offset roots, we'll say, or whatever. Like, it was, or could have been bits on the fruit, but I wasn't actually getting to the true taproot, right? And that was where, I went into that like this, Goliath is gonna fall kind of attitude. No offense, Jess. You're just an outward symbol of what I was going through, in a mental and spiritual respect, we'll say. But I'm like, I was going in. I'm like, I'm going for this. I was going for that knockout, y'all. I was going for it. Not out of trying to be mean, but just out of, being tenacious and wanting to win. What we go in there for, we want to give our best. We want to give it our all and go for it. But I was sure going for it. And then, it wasn't until afterward, after I had not just after they announced who won, and then I had, it was after I had to take time to have my moment and process my stuff, my gunkity gunk, that I realized that the Goliath that needed to fall was the Goliath in me, right? And it was particularly that Goliath of ego and insecurity, right? And I say ego and insecurity because as I feel like I was receiving it and understanding it, they're two faces to the same giant, right? And it goes hand in hand. And so, I'm absolutely all for maintaining and upholding a standard of excellence. A standard of excellence is something that is so important. And I especially feel like me as a Christian, like that's part of my call in life, is to do anything that I do with a standard of excellence and to, not back off from being all that I can be. I want to set that kind of tone and legacy for my children, right? But, when it come down to how things transpired, everybody that I talked to said that it was a great fight. Like they were like, man, you women both freaking showed so much heart, right? I had a lot. Was it that it was the best performance of the weekend? No, I mean, they had some amazing athletes out there. There were dudes that were freaking like off the chain. But I mean, I had people I didn't even know. I mean, there was like some guy in the airport. I don't know who he was. He recognized me from it and was talking about what a great fight it was and how impressed they were with this and this and this. And Lord knows I say that humbly and knowing that I still have so much, I have a lot I have to work on in that regard and much room to grow. But there were a lot of people that thought that we did a really great job. And I appreciated that. And I had to really stop and check myself and say, even as my own sensei asked me, he said, what are you upset for? And I was like, oh, I fell short. I didn't come through. To me, I had failed, right? But that wasn't how he was seeing it. And that wasn't what other people were calling it, Did it turn out, or did we get the decision that I wanted? No. But, like I said, there was a lot of good that was said about it. And so, where that standard of excellence is so important to me, there was a disconnect, right? Where, a lot of people were essentially saying that was excellent. And I'm like, well, I'm not happy with just excellent because I didn't, achieve this. Well, what was that? That was that giant of ego and insecurity. And, where I was letting too much of that decision define what I felt about myself, what I thought about myself. And again, I was letting myself hear that nagging word of you're a failure, you're not good enough, you fall short, you can't get anything right, all these other things, like that negative self-talk that I try so hard to push out. And it was like it was still lying there deep within me, and it was actually impacting me in a negative way, right? And so do I get excited about having taken silver when I feel like I could still yet do better, and I still will do better. But no, I don't get all excited, like, oh, I got excited that I lost. But at the same time, I do have to get smacked upside my head sometimes and realize that it's such a huge blessing and honor and accomplishment to be able to compete on that platform at all, right? And so then we come back And I know this is a little lengthy for you guys, and whatever. This is just me sharing. Maybe it's more for me than you. Maybe it's for you. I don't know. But as I come back, I was really pondering everything, and even my eagerness to get back in and try again, and again, standard of excellence. I want to do well. I plan on leveling up. Every intention to do so. I've already been back at the gym, starting to work on certain things, and have other things that are definitely going to be well in the works. But, I had to stop and put myself in check again and say, hey, is my eagerness to jump back in for the sake of, leading in excellence and trying to set an example of just being ready to go for it again, give it your all. Yeah, it's partly that, but then I have to be mindful that I'm not trying to do that to let that eagerness serve essentially as a handmaiden to that Goliath that needs to go, right? So in other words, is that eagerness me trying to prove to myself or anyone else that I can get this right? I can get this right. I know I can get this right, and I know I will get this right. And I'm in my own process. I'm in my own journey. I'm in my own growth, right? And I really am confident and excited for where things are going to go in the days ahead, in the years ahead, right? I felt like the whole of it was a huge growth period for me, where something that I had to recognize was that Goliath of ego and insecurity, it was a huge enemy to excellence. Right? So as long as I'm letting that thing nag at me and, stay present in my life where, I'm, looking for any sense of validation by that, as though like win or lose determines my own value, I'm never going to be fully free and released to enjoy and walk in the true excellence that God has put within me, right? Because at the end of the day, that excellence should always point back to Him. We've been gifted with a spirit of excellence and the ability to achieve excellence in a way that gives glory and honor back to the one who made us. And so that ego and insecurity wants that glory to come to us. Why? Because that glory to come into us, us getting recognized for being the best, us being recognized for our accomplishments, all of that stuff feeds that ego, and we think it like stifles that insecurity, even though it really perpetuates this massive cycle because it'll never be enough, right? On the other side of that, once we break free from that, then we are released to achieve a much higher level of excellence, where we come in and we just bring our absolute best, hands down. And you better believe I get the opportunity to step back in there, that's my prayer, that I continue to grow in that I get to come in and walk just in a standard of excellence, fully free to do so, not so caught up in the outcome. Yes, I want the win. Yes, I want I want to represent well. I want to bring gold. I want to make Sensei proud. I want to, represent the JoLo's fighting systems well, and showcase, what can be accomplished, through discipline and hard work and all of these things, but also, support Waco and all this stuff. I want to do all that stuff, right? Me being able to freely walk in excellence is key to that. And everything transpiring the way it has definitely been a gift to me in as far as helping me to see that. So, I don't want to, turn around and start using my training as a way to cope with a loss. I want to use it as an opportunity to take that loss and grow. And you darn sure better believe that that's exactly what I'm going to do. So sorry this was a little lengthy, but like I said, it's a little soul search and a little talk and a little exploration. And I hope that you guys receive something from this and in any way. And you're welcome to reach out, connect. I hope you're having an amazing, blessed week, and that you're poised for an incredibly blessed weekend. And I look forward to connecting with you guys again here soon. All right. So take care and God bless. Bye.